We can, as I said before, and you may have heard me say elsewhere, we can build a wall 100 feet high on the border. This is the area of illegal immigration. But if we have sanctuary cities, that wall won't work, or won't work as well as it ought to. Because once you get across the border, you're almost free to roam and live and work. You're gonna take risks to get over the border. And of course, those sanctuary policies, as we've pointed out and others have pointed out, are deadly dangerous. The shooter of Kate Steinle, the illegal immigrant who was released onto the streets thanks to San Francisco sanctuary policy, outrageously was found not guilty of murder by a jury in San Francisco. I haven't even looked closely at that verdict and how the trial was run, but I'm sure it was terribly corrupt. I'm sure it was rigged in a way to make sure that those of us who are concerned about the violence associated with sanctuary city policies and the violence associated with illegal aliens present in the United States wouldn't be able to point to a murder verdict as a supporting point for our argument. So there's been a lot of outrage about that acquittal or the not guilty verdict on the murder. Now, Judicial Watch is doing direct litigation on this, and we have a taxpayer lawsuit against the San Francisco Sheriff's Department. Taxpayers have standing in California to sue government agencies and entities when they spend money for illegal purposes or in support of illegal purposes, such as the sanctuary policy, as we allege. Now, always the trick with these lawsuits are to, I'll warn you, I'm not an attorney, so take this for what it's worth, is to get past the motion to dismiss stage. So you file a lawsuit, and sometimes the other side, oftentimes the other side will file a motion to dismiss, meaning to cut the lawsuit off at the pass before it goes forward anywhere. And that's difficult to overcome sometimes, especially for conservative groups like Judicial Watch, who aren't often fairly treated by the liberal judiciary, especially out in California. Well, we received great news last week because the court in our case ruled that our case can proceed. It survived the motion to dismiss, which means we will get discovery and be able to prove our case, thankfully, to the court that San Francisco's sheriffs, we're suing specifically the Sheriff's Department, and that the policy is illegal and should be stopped. So this is a great victory for the rule of law, in my view. Now, we can cut off funding for these sanctuary cities, which is good. Well, let me tell you something. The money is not enough to have an impact on the cities themselves. They will keep their policies and maybe not even take the money, and they'll still be fine. I mean, it's the government. They don't need the money. You know that. Now, they're going to fight I know these sanctuary states and cities are suing the Trump administration for trying to cut off some money. Believe me, but the money is not significant enough to stop them from doing the policy. Even if they get the money cut off, they're going to still be sanctuary cities. So this is where Judicial Watch is coming in. We're suing the cities directly, in this case San Francisco, to try to stop the policy. So by stopping the policy, we obviously will prevent the waste of taxpayer resources to support illegal activity. But I'm hoping we save lives. We don't need any more Kate Steinles. You know, I spoke a few weeks ago at the Remembrance Project, and maybe we can post a speech. And the Remembrance Project is a group that brings together the families of people who've lost their family members. The families, let me put it this way, the families of victims of illegal alien crime. People who've died, murdered, raped, killed by drunk drivers, you name it. Sanctuary policies are illegal, dangerous, and deadly, and they need to end. And I am so proud of our legal team. So I get to come on here and talk about all the great work our legal team does. You know, all that litigation on Andrew McCabe and the FBI and the tarmac records. All that is because of our legal staff. And it starts with our investigators pushing for information and then looking at it once we get it. So it's a great team here at Judicial Watch. And in this case, we had our legal team, led by Paul Arfanides, who's our litigation director, score a major victory. And now the San Francisco Sheriff's Department is now going to have to answer our questions and try to defend their illegal policy in court. And this is what's great about the American legal system. Little old Judicial Watch can hold the government to account in the court. And they have to answer to us. So it's a great accountability story, and I'm hopeful we win in the long run. It was a significant legal hurdle we overcame. I don't want to overstate it because we still could lose in the end. But it accomplishes much in the way of alerting Americans about the dangers of the sanctuary city policy. And I hope it puts other cities on notice that, hey, Judicial Watch is out there and they may sue us on this sanctuary policy. And I can tell you that they are afraid of Judicial Watch because we've warned them off on a few cities and localities off on these sanctuary city policies, and they've backed off. So it's well worth doing the work.